And today we catch up with Vaynard Jacobs, the Executive Director there at Family Life. Welcome to the show, Vaynard.
Good morning, Di. Great to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about this one because we're talking relationships, which is very vague, but we're actually zeroing in on a subject that I think is really, really important, and that's appreciation. It's part 3 of a 4-part series we're looking into, Secrets to a Joy-Filled Marriage. So I don't know if you want to look at some of the past ones you've looked at, Vaynard. That might be quite helpful.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Look, I initially didn't realize joy could make such a big difference. You know, we think about things like communication and conflict resolution being the most important skills we can practice in our marriage. But actually, you know, this is from the book, The 4 Habits of Joy-Filled Marriages by Dr. Marcus Warner and Chris Corsi. And they actually identify a thing they call the joy gap. And the joy gap is simply the amount of time that couples have between shared moments of joy. And the bigger the joy gap, obviously the more vulnerable your relationship is to resentment and breakdown. And obviously the smaller the joy gap, the more joy you're experiencing, the more resilient your relationship is. And joy can simply be defined as glad to be with. So think about it, and this is a quick test our listeners can do, is when your spouse walks into the room right now, are you glad to be with them, or is it like, why are you bothering me? You know?
Oh dear.
And that's a good indication of where your joy gap is at the moment.
So let's focus in then on appreciation, because you've got appreciate daily. So this is a habit that we need to incorporate all of the time, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. And it's called habits for a reason, because it's not necessarily that these are major things, but it's things we do consistently. And I'll just quickly share the context where appreciation fits in. So there's 4 steps, and it's an acronym called PLAN, PLAN. Play together. That's the first one, to build more joy into your marriage. Listen for emotion. So not just listening for the words, but emotion. And we spoke a bit about that last week. Appreciate daily. That's the one we're going to touch on today. And then nurture rhythms. That'll be our next conversation. Appreciation, the one we're honing in on today, I think can often be misunderstood for gratitude. And although gratitude is very important, appreciation actually goes that extra step deeper. Let me give you an example.
Yeah, I think I need one, because I'm like, I thought they were the same thing, but no, you're telling me they're different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you know, I'm quite good at saying thank you, you know, please and thank you. My mum raised me well, and I've got good manners that way. But please and thank you doesn't quite suffice when it comes to appreciation. Sure, we can be grateful and we can say those things, but appreciation is actually more about taking time to be in the moment. So, hey, thank you for making me a cup of tea. That's, you know, that's gratitude, and that's one form of being grateful. But appreciation would be like, hey, I noticed that you made the effort to, you know, stop what you were doing and not only think of making yourself a cup of tea, but you made me one as well. I really appreciate how you take care of my needs and not just your own.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but I just make a bit more of a big deal about it. And so, yeah. So do you want to comment on
I
that?
was going to say, it's so funny as you're talking, and I just caught myself doing it. I was thinking, and I wonder if other people are doing this as well. I was thinking, yeah, that's right. So when I do things like a cup of tea, my husband should notice and appreciate me. But then actually I was thinking, well, what about all those little things that he does for me? And perhaps I'm not appreciating for him. He may not be making the cups of tea, but he's doing other things. And yeah, I caught myself in that moment thinking about someone else that should do it for me, but perhaps not thinking about how I can do it for others. I thought that was kind of a fascinating insight into my brain. Perhaps not a very good one.
Well, that's good. It's very telling, but that's the thing. That's what we often see. We often, our brains are either hardwired for joy, which is what appreciation does. It actually goes into the brain science of how we change the structure of our brain if we appreciate daily.
Yeah.
So if we appreciate daily, we're in a practice of making a big fuss about the little things in a positive way. We actually rewire our brain to go and look for those things, because there's a dopamine response there. We're saying that oh, good is what we're looking for, not
Yeah.
what's wrong. And so when there's a big joy gap in our marriage, resentment fills that joy gap. And the opposite of that is appreciation. So two of the most powerful forces in life are appreciation and resentment. Appreciation attracts, resentment repels. And the longer we spend, in that space of not sharing joy together and not appreciating what the other person is doing, guess what fills that gap?
I'm guessing resentment.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so,
wow.
So the most powerful, and it's actually not complicated, the most powerful way to actually build more joy in your marriage is to practice daily appreciation. And here's what you can do. There's a little exercise in the book called the 3-3-3.
Okay, let's
and that
hear
is
it.
you take a few minutes at the end of your day. Obviously, you and your spouse need to commit to, hey, let's practice appreciation. This might sound silly. It might not sound like it's going to make a big deal, but let's just take 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the end of the day, 5 minutes each, and we practice the 3-3-3. So say 3 things that you appreciate about your day, and be specific. Like, I appreciated, or I loved getting out for a walk today and just being immersed in nature, and I just felt refreshed. It's actually going deep and reliving that emotion. So 3 things about your day, 3 things you appreciate about your spouse, and again, be specific. And this could be character traits or something they did that day, and 3 things you appreciate about God. So it's helping you build and frame that appreciation, and then just listen to the other person, let them share appreciation, and then give them a turn to share their appreciation. It's not that difficult, yet we don't do it.
And at the beginning of the conversation, we talked about habits. So I'm guessing the 3-3 would become a habit, right? It's one of those things that I could see myself going, hey, let's give this a go. And then, after a week or so, you miss one night, you miss the next night, and then it's gone. But actually, if it's a habit, then it becomes something that you just instantly do without thinking about it.
That's right. So you want to get there. You want to retrain your brain to automatically appreciate, but it's going to take some exercises, and it's going to feel mechanical at first. Trust me,
sure.
For most of us, this doesn't come naturally. Most of us are sort of hardwired to look for the wrong, look for the challenges, look for the missing pieces, whereas our brains actually function the best if we're trained to appreciate each other, appreciate life, and we just come at life with a lot more joy that way.
Oh, this is really good stuff. And you said it actually comes out of this book, and I'm thinking people might want to perhaps get this book at some stage. What is it called again?
It's called The 4 Habits of Joy-Filled Marriages by Dr. Marcus Warner and Chris Causey.
Awesome. And of course, people can get great resources from you guys there at Family Life as well. So if people want to do that, they want to check out the work that you do, how do they do so?
Yeah, they can hop onto familylife.nz.
Always good to chat, Vaynard. Some great thoughts there. Very much appreciate the work that you guys do. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Likewise. Thanks, Di.
Thanks for joining us on Rhema. Now, if you found value in today's content, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel with the subscribe button. This really helps us to continue to produce more quality content for you. And hey, if you'd like to stay updated and never miss any of our future videos, ring that notification bell as well. Don't forget to follow us on our other socials, which are in the description below. And until then, stay tuned.